Reese Davis here. When the pressure's on, you find out who's ready and who's not. Same goes for the job site. The work doesn't slow down when conditions get tough, and you need tools that can finish strong.
That's why DeWalt tests its tools under real-world conditions that push even the best to their limit. Only then does a tool earn the DeWalt badge. They're built to perform again and again, like they did on the first use. DeWalt, guaranteed tough. Available at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Evan Cohen here. When it comes to your tires, you want the best quality, the best value, and the best service. When you buy tires at Midas with paid installation, their limited lifetime tire guarantee is included at no extra cost. Free flat repairs or replacements if needed, and complimentary maintenance like tire rotations and rebalancing every 5,000 miles. All included. That's the limited lifetime tire guarantee. Only at Midas, the best around.
ESPN New York and MSG Network are joining forces.
Big news, Jazz hands.
Start your mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg, live on the MSG Network. Then stick around for Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, live on MSG every afternoon.
We are beyond excited to start simulcasting on MSG Networks.
So think about this real quick second. You got us in the morning 6 to 10. You got our afternoon show 3 to 7. And then right after that, you're talking Knicks, you're talking Rangers.
Yo, yeah. You wake up, you pop it on again, and there we are, waiting for you. Good morning.
ESPN New York and MSG Network, together like never before. It all starts Tuesday, September 8th. ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. This is Carlin.
You know I am not that bright.
On ESPN New York.
Fat, bald, nasally, I got it.
And streaming live on YouTube.
You're welcome. I'll tell you, what a day. What a day. Carlin, ESPN New York, ESPN New York YouTube channel at 800-919-3776. I have had reports, and Dan Gross has sent me a text yesterday. I knew that our guy Tom Bauer is on vacation this week, and he is what I would call an enthusiast of amusement parks and of roller coasters and such. And yesterday, you probably heard Dan talking about it this morning. He sent a text to a couple of people upon the passing of Dolly Parton that we actually think he was stopping at Dollywood this week, that Bauer was going to be at Dollywood. So here's my question for you, Ray. If, in fact, Bauer is at Dollywood today or was there yesterday, shouldn't we check in with Bauer? I mean,
I checked in with him yesterday. He was not there yesterday because
was it on the docket? Was that on the schedule?
I think it's on the schedule for today, is what I gathered from him. Because I texted him and just said, "What did you do?"
Because we're blaming him then for Dolly's passing. Okay, well, might be a bit of a stretch, but we have compared him to Dahmer, But I don't think that's what happened here. She had been in failing. What? I'll tell you, it's been great, and I know you might be saturated with Dolly Parton right now. Okay, can you give me the last person that has been celebrated like this? I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I mean, you see her a couple of years ago. I don't think it was more than 3 years ago, when she was at Thanksgiving at the Cowboys game performing at halftime and doing Jolene like this was 1978. I mean, she was at the top of her game when she was doing that. It might have been lip sync, but I don't think it was.
I feel like it was 2025. No, 2024, I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it was not more than 3 years ago. But remember, she looked amazing, and she's up there in a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader uniform putting on a great show. And universally, Eminem put out yesterday on social media a letter that Dolly Parton wrote to him when he got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Eminem. And he was touched by it. Oh, my Lord. You know what? Celebrating a life there for Dolly Parton. What? I can't remember everybody on every side of the spectrum right now is out celebrating what her life is. And that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be all about. All right. We'll check in and see if Bauer's at Dollywood today. Get a little feel for what it's like at Dollywood. Because it's got to be, is it somber today? I got to imagine that the last thing that Dolly Parton would want was for it to be a somber mood. She would want people out there celebrating and enjoying their day. Seriously, let's get Bauer on the horn at some point today. If that's where he is, I want to talk to him. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. There is lots of the Los Deportes, sports to get to. And I'm really getting a little sick and tired. This happens to me, admittedly, a couple of different times a year. It happens to me prior to the start of the NBA playoffs, when we are in kind of just a purgatory in the months of late February and March. It happens to me in late August, as it is right now. And it also happens in March when it comes to baseball as well. Because we get to a certain point through the preseason or through with the NBA, late in the regular season, when it just doesn't matter anymore and you're just waiting to see what your seeding is going to be, that I get a little bit sick of myself. Did you ever get sick of yourself? Because I have spent the last month and a half leading into football season trying to make cases, trying to, like as if I was an attorney, trying to build ways to say and to settle in on what is successful. What is something that can be successful for these two teams this year, for the Jets and for the Giants? And I'm tired of having it be all about, well, we could improve. We could see them improve. I'm just looking for improvement. We're looking to get a little bit better. No. And even most people are not saying looking to get a little bit better. But I'm sick of the word improvement. I'm so sick of it. We have seen teams, the Seahawks, I won't say came out of nowhere, but nobody expected the Seahawks to be a Super Bowl team last year. Nobody. There have been years where teams have gotten far in the playoffs. 2 years ago, nobody expected the Washington Commanders to make it to an NFC championship game. Nobody expected when Bill Parcells took over the Jets that you were going to go from 1 win to 9 wins and to fighting to get into the postseason in week 16 as they were that year in Detroit. But improvement, competence, mediocrity have become the standard for what we're deeming acceptable moving forward. With this is how bad our football collective lives have gotten. And I say no more to it. No more. If both of these teams don't avoid double-digit loss seasons, it's a disappointing year. It's a disappointing year. Let's start here for a minute with the Giants, who went 4-13 a season ago. When you bring in John Harbaugh, you are bringing in a coach that brings you viability, that brings you, more importantly, credibility. And it brings you somebody that you expect to make an instant impact on what you have. Now, I will not bore you with all of the statistics and the analytics, but Bill Barnwell basically put together what the expected seasons for some of these teams, for the NFL teams this year, should be in a lengthy article on ESPN.com. Bill is an incredibly bright guy and knows football inside and out. He is also an analytics guy. So I'm pretty stupid as a person. I can't follow everything that's going on in what he's saying when he goes into things like DVOA and such. But here's where you get my attention. Bill Barnwell says that the Giants last year, when you look at all the metrics, did not perform like they were a 4-win team. They performed like they were a 7-win team. And they were not that. So when you have the old adage of you are what your record says you are, which as much as I hate cliches and stuff, it's accurate. But you actually performed better than that would suggest. Then when you bring in a coach with credibility, it's all got to change immediately. It's all got to change immediately. And so yesterday, we were talking about that ugly, ugly, ugly freaking word, hope. I'm so sick of hope. It absolutely is the song of the loser. The mantra of the loser. I'm so sick of it. So I don't want to talk about hope anymore. And when we mentioned this, we were looking at reasons why there was hope or why there was belief or why there was at least what was bordering on a fact as to why you were going to be better and why you were going to be able to figure it out this year. And for the Giants, it was about the head coach and it was about the quarterback. It's about those two things. We believe we have a young quarterback who can be the franchise player. I sat here, see, this is the thing. I get cranky when we get through playoffs or we get through preseason. I get very cranky because I get annoyed that I don't get to see guys playing in games at more than a series. And I get annoyed that I got to watch bad football, and I don't even watch it in the second half of games. And so I get sick and tired of it, and I don't get streaming of any of the real joint practices where a lot of the stuff actually looks good to watch. I don't get to see any of that stuff anymore. So as I get sick of the preseason, I go from the Giants, probably today's August, 25th, 26th? Probably around August 2nd or 3rd, I'm sitting there saying, I don't care what the win-loss is this year. I don't care. You know, if the Giants are going to win 8 games, it's going to be a miracle because that second half of that schedule is brutal. The only thing that's important to me is that they are able to establish that they have their long-term answer at quarterback. That Jackson Dart takes off from last year, shows the maturity, is able to stay a little bit healthier. And if he does go down with injury, it's not because he's making dumb plays and taking hits he doesn't need to take. But now I'm beyond that. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being a loser when we talk about these things. I'm sick of it, as I'm sure you are. So when we have a moment like this, where I start to look at what's in front of me, I can't say that anything less than 8 wins is acceptable for the Giants at this point, even though I think it's going to be very hard to get there. They may be a 7-10 team and actually, at the end of the year, be better than the Jets if the Jets win 8 or 9 games. Jets, from a schedule standpoint, have something like the 8th easiest or 6th easiest schedule in the league. The Giants have like the 9th hardest. So that how the whole schedule sets up for me plays a big role in what I think the outcome of the year and what your record is at the end of the year. But when you have John Harbaugh and you have a coach who has got a credibility to him that has certainly put him in demand on the market this past offseason once he left a place where he was for 18 years. And they have a quarterback that they believe can be their franchise quarterback. I don't want to hear they improved this year. I don't want to hear that. I even started talking myself into over the last 2 weeks of, well, just actually have a season that means something come Thanksgiving. Have a reason to pay attention come Thanksgiving. I'm off that now. Now I'm just getting annoyed, and I can lose perspective sometimes, but I really don't think I am here. So if I look at the Giants at 7-10 this year, is that disappointing? How would it not be? How would losing, I know there's the extra game now, but how would losing double-digit games be acceptable in your mind again? They won 4 last year, so they can't even double up what terrible was. For a team that, when Bill Barnwell points it out, and we look at what the metrics say, actually played like a 7-win team. They have upgraded the roster. They're at the point where they're trading away offensive linemen that they feel like they have enough depth. That's twice in 2 days. They traded away Josh Azudu yesterday. And I know it's only for a 7th-round pick, but when in the last 5 years have you ever actually believed that the Giants should be trading away any offensive lineman? They were walking the streets in East Rutherford. They were going and checking out Colonia High School to see if there was anybody left. They were scouting other teams to see if there's anything they could do to bring in guys off practice squads, and now they're trading away offensive linemen. Is this a successful year at 7-10? Dear God, no. Is it successful at 8-9? How are we going to keep defining successful? Is it acceptable or successful? I don't want to settle for acceptable anymore. But acceptable is 8 wins, and I know how hard that's going to be. But when do we start setting the bar a little bit higher? If you have a time at the end of the year where you go 7-10, and you want to sit here and sell me about how much better they looked, go throw your own parade in your own freaking town, okay? He wasn't brought here to turn 4 wins into 7. Jackson Dart is not a franchise quarterback if you're just counting on him turning 4 wins into 7. This is acceptable at 8, but how do I take successful beyond that? Acceptable at 8, but it's going to be exceptionally hard to do it. So this is my question to you. What is actually acceptable to you this year? What is acceptable? What is successful? Take those 2 words, parse them out. Tell me where the difference is for you this season. Because if you're like me, you're probably getting a little bit sick of the preseason. We still have 2.5 weeks left until the regular season, and I can't work myself up into a lather for a 7-win year and be excited at the prospects of that anymore. Doesn't Dart change the standard if you're all believers? Yeah, I still believe that the single most important thing in the grand scheme is that you know you have him as your quarterback, and he is the franchise quarterback. But doesn't that mean that he had success to the level of winning 8 games or so that would convince you that he was the guy? I would think so. I would think so. Please tell me, if you think that 7 wins is acceptable for the Giants, explain what's acceptable this year, what's successful. 800-919-3776. Get involved on the ESPN New York chat as well over on the ESPN New York YouTube page. The phone lines are open now at 800-919-3776. Let's get to the other team. It was a nightmare again. And I'm getting sick of that as you have. I mean, it's 15 years, guys. It's 15 years without going to the playoffs. I understand why celebrating competence and mediocrity is on the table sometimes. I do. The Jets' win total this year is 5.5. They went 3-14 last season. They play the Dolphins twice. They play the Arizona Cardinals at home. They play the Raiders at home. If the Jets are not winning 7 games, 8 games, I'll even throw in a 9er in there for the hell of it. But I'm sticking with 7 or 8. That, again, same deal. 6 wins is not enough. Double terrible is not good. 3-14 was terrible. Double terrible is not good. So 6-11 is beating expectations now? Why am I settling on that? Again, think about last year, where it was at the end of the season. And the players who were out there on the field at the end of the season. You could not have picked a defensive back on the field against Buffalo in Week 18 out of a lineup if somebody paid you. Quinnen Williams was gone. Sauce Gardner was gone. They had absolutely nothing to work with as they are down the stretch at the end of last season. They lost 42-10 at the end of the year. Brady Cook was the quarterback, and the Jets' leading receiver that day against Buffalo was John Mechie III. They were never expecting to win. So this offseason, what have they done? They have completely overrun the entirety of the coaching staff, which for a first-year head coach can't make you feel great, but at the very least, you were able to do it. They have made significant investments in players. They went and improved by getting Minkah Fitzpatrick. They went and improved and changed up their style defensively to a more physical, larger one by adding Tavondre Sweat. Kingsley Enagbare, Joseph Osai, better pass rushers to go with Will McDonald, and then taking David Bailey with the second overall pick, who I believe will end up being better than Arvell Reese and will show that he was the better pick. And then, even if you want to say the guy is so far down the line, Demario Davis is here too. And then at quarterback, somebody that shouldn't kill you. Again, mediocrity we're settling for, but somebody that shouldn't kill you. Brady Cook will kill you. Geno Smith shouldn't kill you. So if the Jets are going to be happy, or the Jet fan who is so beaten down into a fine powder of desperation and just, I was going to use a word I don't even want to use because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to those fans anymore. I'm just trying to find the appropriate word. The word I was going to use would be loserdom, but it's not them. It's not them. They've gotten stuck in a spiral of nightmares for 15 years at least, if not really the entire existence of the organization. If the Jets win 6 games, is that good? No, that's not good. That's not good. Technically an improvement, but I'm tired of hearing about improvement. The Jets, again, I want to set the bar at not losing double-digit games. What's wrong with that? Am I out of my mind for doing that? For saying 8 and 9 is fair, and it would at least encourage people. We need things to feel good about. This is supposed to be our distraction in life. I realize I am sitting here in the sandbox playing while everybody else is out there working. And we're trying to be the distraction. And football especially has become the grand distraction in this country. If the Jets go from 3 to 6 wins and you're going to get excited by doubling a win total, congratulations, you're a loser. That's not it. That's not it. The word progress can't even be used before 7, let alone 8. Acceptable. Just get me to acceptable. What's acceptable? I'm putting the minimum standard on these teams, even though I think it's a harder road for the Giants, at the same level. What's the Giants' win total for this coming season? 7.5. Like, that's a big number. That's a big number for the Giants. There's much more expectations because of who the head coach is now. But I can't deal with comments like this as we get later into the season. Now, they were in the game. Well, I mean, defense fought. Dart played well. You know what? They're showing up for Aaron Glenn. They're not quitting on him. Eventually, with the amount of rebuilds and retools and all of the things that we have been dealing with for a long time around here, eventually, don't they have to translate into wins? Doesn't the scoreboard become part of the equation? And frankly, when it comes to the Jets, there's no excuse to not win 8 games. There's no excuse. If you've been trying to spend your entire offseason selling me on how Geno can be a middle-of-the-road quarterback, let's actually see it. Because I'm still of the opinion that by midseason, Klubnik is going to give them the better chance to win games, but dear God, I hope that's not the case. The Jets get Tennessee, Cleveland, Miami twice, Vegas, Arizona. And if I'm not mistaken, Cleveland's at home. One of the Miami games is obviously at home. Vegas and Arizona. 4 of those 6 games are at home. Ray, can you double-check that for me? I'm pretty sure the Cleveland game's at home.
Cleveland is at the Meadowlands.
Thank you. 4 of those games against bad football teams are at home. You know how you get better and improve? You beat teams that are worse than you. You don't lose to them. So this is it. Guys, get involved here at 800-919-3776. Jet and Giant fans together. As we sit on the doorstep of the season, what are you expecting? What is acceptable in your mind? And what is successful? This is your opportunity to get in at 800-919-3776. Also on the ESPN New York YouTube chat, which I will check out momentarily. Another night, sleeping problems. It's like my brain decides at 2 a.m., hey, let's wake up the big fella and let's get him thinking about things that aren't even important. Another, I would say off and on last night, another hour and a half of just tossing and turning. Cannot get out of my own way. Please don't give me any more tips because at this point, I was soliciting them the other day. I can't anymore. I can't. Somebody needs to shut my brain off. And these football teams are clearly not doing it.
The U.S. Open Tennis Championships are underway, and you can still get in on the excitement. Grab a $30 grounds pass for the Finals Fan Fest, September 12th and 13th in Louis Armstrong Stadium. Experience celebrity arrivals and star-studded viewing parties, hosted by actress and comedian Yvonne Orji and The Bachelor's Joey Grazadeh. Plus, live DJ sets from Tinks, Lucas, and Summer House's Kyle Cook. Get tickets now at usopen.org.
In Westchester County and Scarsdale, northbound Bronx River Parkway by Fenimore Road, an accident blocking one lane. New York State Thruway by Spring Valley Road, an accident on the shoulder of the road. And we've got delays on Long Island, northbound Wantagh Parkway. That's coming into an Old Country Road, an accident blocking one lane. George Washington Bridge inbound lower level at accident, center lane blocked. Upper level has construction. I'm Bob Williams on 880 ESPN New York.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Protecting your home inside and out.
This is the Michael K. Show.
Take a look around Major League Baseball, and the Yankees are a lot closer to perfect than most of the teams that are supposedly real championship contenders. And I'll say this with no equivocation whatsoever. If the Yankees were healthy with their running it back philosophy that everybody kicked around, they'd be running it back and running over the competition.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. When it's game time, you need a good playbook, especially in the kitchen. Because when a crowd wants wings, fresh pizza, and mouthwatering sliders, you better have options in your kitchen.
With Frigidaire Range, you get over 15 cooking modes, including stone-baked pizza, air fry, and air sous vide. Your game time MVP combo built right into your oven. Available at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that I did not know that Dolly had written I Will Always Love You. I did not realize that until, obviously, yesterday when you start hearing a lot of these things. And here was the other thing I heard about that, is that apparently Elvis wanted to do that song at some point. And the guy that ripped Elvis off, Colonel Tom Parker, went to Dolly and said, hey, we want to do the song, but we want half the publishing for it because we're going to make it much bigger than you could ever make it. And she basically said, go pound sand, Colonel Tom Parker. And then later, what happens? Whitney Houston does it. Dolly cashes in. That guy, take a walk, loser. That guy ripped off Elvis for enough, you know? And we're trying to rip everybody else off? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. Hey, my friends, Lodi in New Jersey, the town of Lodi in New Jersey. Are you ready? Monkey Sports, bringing the ultimate sports destination to your neighborhood. It's Team ESPN coming to Monkey Sports this Saturday, August 29th, for the grand opening celebration. It's all starting 9 a.m., 240 Route 17 South, Lodi, New Jersey. Meet brand experts, check out the latest sports gear, and win ESPN swag. Whether you're a player, a parent, a coach, a fan, there is something different and something for everyone at Monkey Sports. Don't miss the biggest grand opening of the year, Monkey Sports in Lodi, New Jersey. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Get involved in the program on the ESPN New York chat as well. Success for the, there's a couple of unfortunate comments, one of which that I would read right now. Success for the Jets would be a Woody Johnson scandal that would force him to sell the Jets. Yeah, no, see, that's not right. I mean, I think, haven't we seen enough scandals with owners at this point? As Woody frustrates you, I understand that. But listen, Daniel R. Case, that's a bit much. Jets also have the Patriots and Bills twice each, Chiefs, Bears, Chargers, Broncos. I get that. That's 461 chiming in. I get that. One thing I did say that was incorrect, shocker, is that Arizona was a home game. That game is in Arizona. Guess what? You still better win that damn game because that's going to be an awful football team out there. Just absolutely awful. So, for me, I just think asking for more than mediocrity is not wrong. And expecting more than mediocrity is not wrong. And I'm just curious as to why so many of us have been willing to sit there and think that 6 and 7, and even 8 for that matter, are numbers that are livable at this point. I mean, 8 is successful. I can't tell you that it's not for both of them. But I don't want to put a double-digit loss season in the successful category for anybody. I can't do that. I can't do that. Is this true? Dolly also took money and invested into low-income neighborhoods in Nashville in Whitney Houston's name. I mean, unbelievable. You cannot find a negative word to be said about this person, and that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Anyway, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Yankees lose last night, but they do so in a fashion that just frankly doesn't even bother me that much. It really doesn't. If you're going to sit here today and get worked up about the bullpen having a bad night after the Yankees actually score 7 runs, seriously, take it somewhere else. I don't want to hear about it because you can by all means make your case as to why you would now have worries about the bullpen, but I can't. I can't. It's been too good all season long. I do have hope and belief, you know, from what it sounds like, maybe Schmidt can come back soon and be helpful on the back end. You know, I've heard ideas about maybe he starts to be somebody that they use at the very back end of the pen. I'm not getting too worked up and thinking that can be the case. I'm more of the mindset right now of the Yankees treating the rest of this season like the Knicks treated the rest of the regular season. When it was clear that the Knicks were locked in the third spot in the Eastern Conference and that was not changing, then all you were doing was sitting around and waiting for the playoffs to begin. And they understood what their lot was going to be and what it was going to look like. And the Yankees understand that right now. Making the playoffs and being a wild card at the moment, that's all that matters to me. Winning the division it doesn't matter that much. Would it be nice? Sure. Am I going to really go all out the rest of this season and try to win the division at all costs? I am not. Because I have to play at least one of Tampa or the Red Sox in that case, no matter what. Because if the Yankees win the division, they'll end up being the number 1 seed. Yes, if I'm in the wild card, I have to play them both, and that's not ideal either. But I'm so tired of worrying about what the hopes and expectations look like about who your opponents are and what the matchups are. Do they matter? Of course they matter. More so, I think, in the NBA than anywhere else. Maybe in football a little bit more, but with baseball, no. I'm not going to get that worked up by what those matchups are. What I'm really going to start to worry more about is just beating the team that is in front of me at the moment. And for the Yankees, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. If they were going to be in a possibility of being on the other side of the bracket and getting the chance to play the White Sox or getting the chance to play Texas or Houston or Seattle, I'd be fine with any of those. I'd be much happier to be able to go through that side, but that's not happening. The way this is structured, that's not happening. So as we have possibilities of positive things happening, with Max Fried maybe pitching on Saturday, as Aaron Boone kind of hinted at yesterday, with Judge coming back, God knows when. I don't know what the situation is with Weathers, if he's going to be able to be back and make a difference at the end of the year. We obviously know Stanton, no matter what they say, I think at this point, nobody's counting on a damn thing from Stanton. If all of that is true, and I'll have some interesting things to say about Stanton here in a couple of minutes when it comes to something Michael had to say yesterday, I just feel like the Yankees at this point, you still have to look at the really good teams in front of them and understand that it doesn't matter who you play or when you play them. All they have to do is get to the playoffs. And if anybody ever proved that, it was the Knicks. And you don't know what else happens along the way. Now, they're not going to have the benefit of having somebody knock off either the Rays or the Red Sox like the Sixers did for the Celtics. But it doesn't mean they can't beat either of those teams, especially with the pitching they have. Carlin, 800-919-3776. Lines open. Let's go on what the expectations are. Let me get rid of that word. On what's acceptable for the football season. What is acceptable in your mind? Is 8 the number that is acceptable for both of these teams? Because for me, that's what it absolutely looks like. I cannot buy into improvement and getting better and all that crap when we're still talking about double-digit losses. Carlin, 800-919-3776. Get on the lines. Get in the chat on the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Hey Yankees and Knicks fans, come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, September 25th and be ready to receive a very special giveaway. It's Josh Hart Yankees Bobblehead Night, presented by Delta Airlines. The first 18,000 guests will receive a Josh Hart Yankees bobblehead. Again, don't miss Josh Hart Yankees Bobblehead Night, presented by Delta Airlines when the Yankees face the Orioles on Friday, September 25th. For tickets, log on to yankees.com/tickets.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. When it's game time, you need a good playbook, especially in the kitchen. Because when a crowd wants wings, fresh pizza, and mouthwatering sliders, you better have options in your kitchen.
With Frigidaire range, you get over 15 cooking modes, including stone-baked pizza, air fry, and air sous vide. Your game time MVP combo built right into your oven. Available at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
ESPN New York and MSG Network are joining forces.
Big news, Jazz hands.
Start your mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg, live on the MSG Network. Then stick around for Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, live on MSG every afternoon.
We are beyond excited to start simulcasting on MSG Networks.
So think about this real quick second. You got us in the morning 6 to 10. You got our afternoon show 3 to 7. And then right after that, you're talking Knicks, you're talking Rangers.
Oh yeah, you wake up, you pop it on again, and there we are, waiting for you. Good morning.
ESPN New York and MSG Network, together like never before. It all starts Tuesday, September 8th.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used the trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
I was really surprised yesterday, and I was listening to Michael on the way home, and he was so strong in defending the idea of keeping Giancarlo Stanton on the Yankees for next season. Carlin with you, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. And the reason I was surprised, it's not that Michael would be behind the idea of keeping Stanton here. I'm just trying to think and wrap my head around where moving on from Stanton really hurts the Yankees for next season. Like, if you're going to sit there and have the mindset that Stanton's bat can still be lethal if he's out there to help you, I understand that, but we have just gotten to ridiculous levels when it comes to the if he's out there discussion. So, Stanton has his deal through next year. He is owed $25 million. The Yankees owe 15 of that. The Marlins have to pay 10 of that. And then he is owed, I believe, $10 million in a buyout on a club option for 2028. So the Yankees, in essence, would owe him, out of their own pocketbook, $25 million for next season and the year after. But there's no thought in releasing him. I get that it's a lot of money and it's a lot of money to eat, but we don't know what it looks like yet when it comes to the salary cap, if there's going to be a cap, if whatever the work stoppage looks like after the fact. Stanton is just somebody that's going to end up being dead weight. And I kind of compare it to when teams need to have a young quarterback in order to win because in other places they're paying guys too much stupid money. or even to compete. And they need that guy to go out and actually produce right away. If Stanton's on your books, I get it. It's $25 million of nothing. And if he gives you anything, well, then maybe it's just worth it to keep him around as opposed to nothing. But you know what Stanton has unfortunately become? He's just become a symbol. He has become a meme to a degree for a Yankee fan about somebody that just constantly gets hurt and about what a waste of time it was to go and bring him in and a waste of resources it was to go and bring him in. Now, at the time when you made the deal, you know two things. You are getting a player that just hit 59 home runs and was the MVP in the National League. And you are getting a player on the front end of a 13-year, $325 million contract. And I just want to point out, like, anybody who ever was going to try to suggest that Stanton was going to be with the Marlins long-term, just go look at the structure of what his contract was. The Marlins gave him a deal in which he got $6.5 million his first year, $9 million his second year. In 2017, he was due to make $14.5 million, and then it gets to 25 and 29 and 29 and all the big numbers after that. So the Marlins, knowing what they did in the moment, was a massive PR coup to show we're going to keep our superstar player here. They knew very well that within 2 years they were going to be trading him because they backloaded that contract in a ridiculous way. So the Yankees now sit here with somebody that just can't help anymore. He continues to get hurt when he's trying to work his way back. They should be just thinking about moving on. And it's not because he can't hit. He's actually capable of hitting, but here's a little thing I don't know if you know about the game. You're only actually capable of hitting if you're physically at the plate. Like, you have to be, facing a pitcher to get a hit. He has become a symbol of Yankee fans' frustration over the last several years. The highlights that he has given have been in the postseason, but they haven't translated into a championship. It hasn't been good enough to do that. And in every other way, the guy has played in less than half of the games as a Yankee. Less than half of the games that he's been eligible for as a Yankee. That's a staggering number when you were throwing around what those contracts were like or what that contract was like at the time. You did that. It was a reactionary move in the moment. And Yankee fans that said that they were against it, most of them are lying now. And you always have to come to the realization that when you have a player who is going to get that kind of a deal, like you gave to Soto, the Mets gave him a couple of years ago, like you got with Lindor a few years ago, the back end of these deals is never going to look good. So why take a roster spot with somebody that you have to pay him anyway, and you could go find somebody else who might be able to produce for you? I'm not counting on Stanton being able to be back at all next year for a damn thing. Why would I ever do that? I understand this was somebody that was an ALCS MVP. I'm tired of using the words when he plays, when available. He's played 24 games this season. 24 games. Played less than half last year. It's 77 games. The calf injuries with that body keep coming, and you know what happens after that. We don't have to talk about that he's going to blow out his Achilles, but that, of course, is the big worry with anybody that has a calf injury, and he actually injured the other calf while rehabbing this one. He's going to be 37 years old. What I really respect about Giancarlo Stanton is I don't know that I've ever seen another player come to this town with the expectations that he had, have so many problems along the way, and never mishandle himself in a single spot publicly. A fan could never get on him for being silly. You never saw a Deshaun Watson like you saw the other day out of Giancarlo Stanton. The dude never complained once. The dude never once publicly expressed any frustration about how he was being perceived, and it was always, I have to be better, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have to be healthy. We passed the idea a few years ago of availability becoming a baseball skill. We know that. Availability is a baseball skill, and it has been for a long time, but that's not why I'm sticking and waiting for him. It's a respite for Yankee fans. They're tired of hearing the name. They're tired of seeing him, but they're tired of hearing the name even brought up. Because it's been nothing but a symbol of non-championship seasons and wasted resources. They all signed for it when it happened because you didn't get Ohtani. That's why they went and made that move. But now, it is time to move on because you just need to make your fan base feel a little bit better if you're not going to win again. And you can't make them think that you're actually going to count on him. I mean, there was a comment from Brian Cashman, I want to say this was a year or two ago, where it was like, well, you cannot count on anything with him. It was along those lines. When your GM is saying that, just move on. You're not doubling down on him anymore, but just let it go and acknowledge that it's over. All right, lines starting to heat up. We will do that next at 800-919-3776. Carlin, with you, Stanton, it's time to go. After this year, it's time to go. Punt. 800-919-3776. We roll. Have we spotted Tom at Dollywood yet? Is that happening?
No, we're looking into the security footage. So is security because Tom is there.
Says Tom being held in Dollywood jail at the moment. Are those amusement park jails? Has anybody ever been in an amusement park jail? I've heard about them. I haven't personally done anything in an amusement park that would find me getting taken to one or even questioned by security at an amusement park. But then again, I haven't been to one in a while. It's Carlin, ESPN New York.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
They built this station from the ground up. And now, for one afternoon, They're back together. Michael Kay and Don LaGreca, the two longest tenured voices in ESPN New York history, reunite for a special 2-hour broadcast celebrating 25 years of ESPN New York. 25 years. Two legends. One conversation you won't want to miss. Thursday, September 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on ESPN New York and streaming live on the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
We are moving now.
Electric bikes are everywhere. They are quiet and very fast. Teens ride them on the roads, in bike lanes, but also in places they should not be, like sidewalks and parks.
Look out!
When you ride, wear a helmet. Don't speed. Watch out for pedestrians and cars. New York State and your community have specific rules for electric bikes. Follow them. Go to trafficsafety.ny.gov for more info. A message brought to you by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Do you read more about your team in the off-season than in the season? Does your game day outfit include a brown bag with eye holes? Then you may be a fan of a BST or bad sports team. Luckily, when you bundle your home and auto insurance with Progressive, you're protected. Because seeing your painted face in the rearview mirror after a loss isn't just depressing. It's distracting. Visit Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Covered subject to policy terms. Not available in all states or situations.
Winning football teams have a playbook. Winning businesses? They've got Robert Half. Because when your star player's out or the workload blitzes, you need the right move fast. That's where Robert Half's specialized recruiters, together with their award-winning AI technology, step in, matching companies with skilled contract talent across finance, tech, legal, and more. It's depth on your bench. It's keeping the drive alive. Visit roberthalf.com/talent. At Robert Half, we know talent.
Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They are the 2026 NBA champions. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. This is Carlin.
You know I am not that bright.
On ESPN New York.
Fat, bald, nasally, I got it.
And streaming live on YouTube.
You're welcome. Listen, we have touch base with Tom Bauer, and he is at Dollywood. We did have the budget to send him there today to be, boots on the ground, so to speak, to get a feel for what's going on, and he will join us shortly. Listen, it has been an amazing outpouring of love for this woman and her passing. If you are of the younger generation, and you have not seen the movie 9 to 5, with her, Lily Tomlin, Dabney Coleman, and Jane Fonda, I believe it was circa 1982-ish. It is a fantastic movie. Very funny. Very funny. I would highly advise that you watch it. Just in her honor right now. At 800-919-3776. We are really going to Dollywood later with Tom Bauer, who just, how amazing is it that Tom Bauer is at Dollywood on vacation? Well, how would Tom Bauer, a guy from the Jersey Shore, who, yes, is an amusement park enthusiast, end up at Dollywood the time around when she passes away? First of all, let's not cast any aspersions on Tom. I understand that if they were combing for suspects, he might be one. But I'm not going to do that to him because we know that she passed of natural causes and was obviously dealing with being sick for a while. And I am not trying to make light of that situation at all. But the fact that Tom is there and can give you a true feel for what's going on out there today, I think we all have to be, pretty excited about that. David and Elizabeth will start us off on ESPN New York this hour. David, what's going on, bud? How are you?
What up, Chef?
Oh, you know.
Right, so that's good. Same old, right?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got?
So Chef, I agree with you. The number is 8. I don't know if we could achieve it. I don't know if we could get there, but the number's 8. For the Giants, I think, honestly, they can possibly get there. They're a little better structure than what we got going on our side of the
But here's what I want to know. Why is it that there is this assumption that the Giants are going to have a better year than the Jets when the Giants have a much more difficult schedule. And I would argue if you went down the rosters, the Jets might have the overall better roster.
I agree with you as far as on paper and roster. But the thing why I have more faith in the Giants having a better situation than us is, it's the coach, even though he just got there, it's a fresh cup of coffee. I know people are going to say that. But I just have more faith than them in that. And also they have Dart as well. I'm not saying Dart is fully established or we're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's a certified starter. Let's just move on with his career. But I just think that they're in a better situation, Chef. I do also want to say this on the Jets side, too. On an up and up, I heard that, since I was the last training camp, they had a pretty strong outing on the offensive side. Cooper, finishing his routes, catching all his balls, paws. Guys is getting, guys is doing what they're supposed to do, Chef. So I think they're leading in the right direction. Chef, I do want to say this. Even though Delusional Dave is checked in, I don't know why, man, but I feel like they could possibly make some noise and do something, Chef. I don't know why, but I guess it's a delusion. It's a delusion, right?
Is it a delusion to think that they could go to the playoffs this year? Yes, it's delusional. To think that they could win 9 or 10 games? Yes, it's delusional. Because I really, as much as I want to sit here and tell you that acceptable for the Giants is 8, I'm just trying to set the bar higher than we have been for a while. We have been made not delusional, we just have been made accepting of less. And that should really trouble us more than anything else. That is what the problem is. They have beaten us down into just accepting less now and trying to say, well, what do you want? We just need to take steps here. Been doing this for a long time. We've been in taking the steps mode, right? And even why are we here again with the Giants? Because after a year where they made the playoffs, everybody knew that was not a very good team. All the one-score wins, everybody knew that was still a team that needed to be retooled. But yet the coach and the GM said, know what? No, we're not retooling this. Let's ride this out. Let's try to maximize this. And it was a huge, huge mistake. That was when things needed to be done, even though they were a playoff team. But then you start getting caught up in the things that you shouldn't as opposed to what's best for the organization. Dave is in the car, and he is next on ESPN New York. Dave, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine, buddy. When I first called in, I heard you talking about Stanton.
Yeah.
It sounded like maybe I might have been countering you, but, I agree with you. When Stanton came in, I'm a Yankee fan. I felt like the Empire's ready to strike back. But I have two things I want to throw at you about Stanton. Better late than never, but why wasn't there ever a buyout before? They held out hope, I think, too long. And the second question is...
Well, because then you're talking about buying out... listen, you do it before this season, then you're talking about buying out $50 million. That's a big number. That's why.
That's a huge number. The second question is, and I'm saying this because I have people in my family who've been to the hospital of special surgery where a lot of the athletes go. I have friends who've been there. How is it this guy can be seeing all these specialists who are working at, for a major sports team, and it seems like there's no cure for what ails him? Like, you would think there might be one or two doctor reports to say, hey, you know what? This guy's body is, it's breaking down on him. Like, there's really no fixing it. It's kind of like we're putting a Band-Aid on it and moving on to the next injury. It just seems like that's a little sketchy part of his injury history that I've always questioned. Seeing all these specialists and never being able to recover, completely at all.
All right, but Dave,
what are your thoughts?
Dave, my problem there is you want to blame doctors. I mean, can they all be wrong about what's going on? Can they all be wrong?
No.
Because you're right, they're specialists, and these are the best of the best. The guys who are dealing with these injuries are the best of the best when it comes to the medical profession. So did they let him down? I'm not saying that they can't make mistakes. They obviously can. But did they let him down? I don't know that I would say that.
I got you. And then there's just reality. Like, whatever's in his body genetically, it just hit a wall and it just never recovered, sadly, because the guy's a class guy, and I think his class is going to lead him a long way out of, away from baseball to stay within the ranks of baseball as like a classy guy, a head office guy one day. But it's just sad to see the way it's going to end.
Yeah, listen, it certainly wasn't what you wanted it to be. There were moments along the way. But when Stanton came here, what's the expectation? Championships. Did they win any? No. So, obviously, that's a disappointment. And when you look at the body of work, just take a look here. Just pull this up for the entirety of his Yankee career. So the first season with the Yankees would have been 2018. Stanton played 158 games in 2018. And then after that, his high in games played was 139. That's rough. His best WAR with the Yankees was his first year at 4.4. And remember, like, people looked at him. He went 38 and 110 that year, and they were disappointed. Stanton had 1 year, and that was last year, where the OPS was over 900. But that 38 and 100 was actually a solid season, and people were disappointed with it. The next year, he played 18 games in 2019. 2020, in the COVID year, played 23 games out of the 60. Like, Stanton, in his Yankee career, over 9 years, has played in 764 games. In 8 years, in Miami, played in 986. Wow. 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 That one caught me off guard. I mean, listen, the number is bad. It's pretty much playing in less than half the games that you have. Right? Roughly. Subi, Midtown. What's up, Subi? How you doing, baby?
Hey, Mr. Carlin, regarding Stanton, it's sad that the players get blamed for what they are. He's always been a master, and that's what brings the joy for the Yankees fans over the years. His home runs have been like pure Hollywood, especially when he launched them in Los Angeles. But regarding the Jets, what do you feel about Jets having innovative offense this year? You look throughout the NFL, that's what has been made the NFL teams quite popular, like the Rams. Can Frank Reich make this football team and the offense quite innovative?
Subi, what's the word? All right, Subi, what do you mean by innovative?
Anything that's not 3 and out every other down.
Innovative is actually a sustained drive. And you know what? That's fair.
Right, exactly.
That's fair. Again, where have we set the bar for so long? Just actual drives that go beyond 3 plays.
It sounds funny.
No, but I get it.
When you watch the Rams, when you watch the Lions, and not even the Bears, why have those teams done well? Even in the disappointing seasons, they've had innovative offenses. With Frank Reich, even if he takes over half the year in, I want to see an innovative offense because I don't think Glenn is capable of that.
I'm going to change your word. I'm going to change your word from innovative to just productive. How about that? I think that's more than a fair word to use. A productive offense would be nice. Yeah, Sean McVay has always been viewed as an innovative coach offensively. Frank Reich, I don't know that people would use the word innovative, but the guy's had a lot of success as an offensive coach. He really has. I don't think he did that bad of a job in Indianapolis, to tell you the truth. And obviously, whatever happened in Carolina was a bit of a mess. And that can't be pinned on him completely. Now, I can't ever prove this. I had always heard whispers and rumors that he wanted to take Stroud and not Bryce Young. Now, neither one of them has exactly turned out great, but Young that first year was particularly bad. But then he got fired, halfway through his first season as head coach in Carolina. Every time I have seen Frank Reich run an offense, it's been a pretty good offense. I mean, we've said what we said about Carson Wentz and what he did with him early in his career in Philadelphia. And then if you go back and look for Wentz, he had a season in Indianapolis that really wasn't that bad. I think he threw 30 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, in Indianapolis with, he went 27-7 with Frank Reich as his head coach. And he threw for 3,500 yards, and that was thought to be a bad year for him. Like, the Colts didn't have a ton of success that year, but it's not like that. Would you sign for 27-7 right now from Geno and 3,500 yards? The yards, maybe you want that number to be a little bit higher, but that's just because of the amount of games played. If you had 27-7 from him this year, oh my God, from Geno Smith, that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Ray, is Tom going to be joining us shortly? We have connected with him. Will he be joining us shortly? If so, will he be joining us via the YouTube video from Dollywood?
I am going to send him the link and try and get him on the video.
Okay, Tom Bauer.
It may be choppy. I said we are not averse to choppy.
No, listen. This is an important story, and I'm not joking around when I say that. It's important that we have somebody there at where one of the major developments in pop culture has happened this year. Not that she passed away at Dollywood. I guess she was at Vanderbilt Hospital in Nashville being treated for cancer, I believe. I shouldn't say that definitively, but she obviously had been sick for a bit. But, listen, Tom's there where this person is being celebrated universally. And just how odd is it that Tom's on vacation and this just happens to be a spot where he's going and he finds himself in the middle of the story? I don't know, man. This is one of the great performers in the history of the country and one of the great people. I heard somebody who put it this way. Yesterday? That this is, you know who it was? I believe it was Matt from Matt and Myron on ESPN Radio. This is one of the best pure people to ever become famous at the level that she did. Just the level of fame when you see people who are not great people. Newsflash, a lot of people who reach that level of fame, not great individuals. But this is one of the great people that ever became that famous, and all you're seeing is amazing tributes over the last day or so. And maybe it's the fact of where we are as a country, divided as we are, that you don't see everybody universally agree on this, on really anything. But on this, at least it's just good to see from that standpoint. Tom's at Dollywood today. Like, it's just so... What does it say more about, like, that a kid from the Jersey Shore went to Dollywood for vacation to hit a few different amusement parks and to see what that's all about, and he finds himself in the middle of the biggest story out there? Let's bring him in. We now go live to Dollywood, and we welcome in producer of this show, Tom Bauer, who joins us from his vacation, a Jersey Shore kid, an amusement park enthusiast, who on the ESPN New York YouTube channel right now, you can see Tom Bauer live from Dollywood. I would advise you to do just that. Tom, what is it like out there right now?
Well, hi, Chris. I hope you're doing well. Haven't spoken to you on the air in quite a few, about 2 weeks now. But, it's kind of a little bit of a somber but cheerful attitude out here today. There's a lot of people here who are here to try and memorialize the legend that is Dolly Parton. And then you got a lot of people here just kind of experiencing all that Dollywood has to offer, which is, from being here for an hour, an absolutely beautiful environment. and loving every minute so far. And it's been a very quiet morning, but a very peaceful morning out here.
All right, so it's been a peaceful morning out there. Would you say that, not that you would know what the normal crowd would look like, but a summer crowd at an amusement park in the middle of Tennessee, where this is an iconic figure, you would assume that it, people are making a pilgrimage there today, are they not?
There was certainly a lot of traffic coming into the park. Honestly, the crowd is a little bit quieter from a attendance level than I would have expected. I think down south, it's kind of back to school season down here. So I think that might be affecting the levels a little bit. But Dollywood put out a statement yesterday. As Dollywood have wanted, the park is going to be open. The show must go on. That's what the statement said. It was a beautiful statement. And I think there's going to be a lot of people here who might even skip school just to come out and be here on a day to honor Dolly.
Now, exactly how did we end up here with you, Tom? I mean, I know that you're an amusement park enthusiast, but you now find yourself in the middle of the biggest story in the country right now purely by accident, or was it?
Oh, what are you trying to imply there, Chris?
I'm not implying anything.
I don't think I'm liking anything.
I'm not implying anything. Seriously, what is this roadmap of you to what other amusement? Are you hitting like a bunch of amusement parks on this week off? What are you doing?
So I've been in Myrtle Beach, like a second home for my family, for the past few days. And then I made the pilgrimage out here yesterday into this morning. So I arrived here around probably, let's say, 10 o'clock. So I'm hitting Dollywood today, then hitting Busch Gardens down in Williamsburg tomorrow, one of my favorite theme parks I've ever been to. And then from there, honestly, there's not going to be any more parks because all the ones down south that I'd want to hit are closed because of school schedules. So to the south, maybe open your theme parks for dumb tourists like me year round. That would be very nice. Thank you.
Are you you're a big Colonial Williamsburg guy? Are you going to wear one of the hats? Are you trying to churn butter? Like, what's our deal there?
I mean, listen, whatever makes good content for the station, if you want me to churn some butter out in Williamsburg, then I'll be happy to do that for the station.
I'm not asking that for you, but what makes it an amazing park for you to go to that you said you just called it one of your favorites?
Well, it's been voted the most beautiful park in the world for countless years in a row by the Golden Ticket Awards, which is like the Emmys of amusement parks. It's got about 9 or 10. Yeah, I know.
Just
too much
the
about
Emmys, not the Oscars of amusement parks.
Emmys, Oscars, tomato. I don't care about them too much either way. I only care about the Marconis. That's what really matters around here. But no, it's got like 10 world-class coasters as well. It's got one of my favorites in the world called Pantheon. It's like a multi-launch coaster. You go backwards, you shoot up a hill, get flown out of your seat. It's amazing. And the atmosphere there is absolutely beautiful. They theme it to like many different countries out in Europe. So each like area of the park is its own separate country, and you kind of get to live a little bit in the life of what it would be like in Europe. I'm guessing. I've never been to Europe.
If you're joining us just now, Tom Bauer is live from Dollywood. It just happens to be there upon the passing of Dolly Parton yesterday. Now, paint a picture for me of what Dollywood is actually like. Like, is it a typical amusement park? Like, give me a sense of what the whole situation is out there. What kind of a place is it? Is it just a lot of performers? Tell me about it.
I haven't seen a lot of performers yet, but what it is you can kind of expect it like, so you're driving through the Smoky Mountains to get here. You're going up and down a mountain pretty much the entire time at the park. Like, it's themed, I guess, maybe to like, I don't want to say like old Western, but that might be the best way I can put it. Like maybe like 1860s, like kind of a Western or a Southeastern type of experience, what life would be out like in the woods and the mountains and stuff. Like a lot of wooded buildings, like a lot of beautiful architecture, a lot of nature going on here, a lot of Dolly planted around the park, a lot of Dolly's image, a lot of what she wanted in the park. Like her vision is out here. You got that surrounded with a lot of coasters and stuff. It's just absolutely beautiful out here. It's probably one of the best and most beautiful parks I've been to so far.
Are people putting out flowers and tributes around the park?
Yes. So driving up to the main entrance, I saw a bunch of people planting flowers there. Then when you walk into the park at the ticket booth, there's a place where you can zip tie flowers to a Dollywood logo that says "In Memory of Dolly," and you can make you can put your own like twist. I'm running out of words. I'm awful at this.
Yes, you are.
You can put a flower there in her honor. There's a couple of places throughout the park where you can do flowers as well. There was a big media congregation around something called the Dolly Parton Experience earlier this morning. I couldn't get through to that. My ESPN badge didn't work for some reason. So I couldn't get a front row access to that.
Did you actually did you actually take your ESPN badge and try to get in there? Like you were covering it?
No, of course not. But I
that
should have tried to do that.
You should have. You absolutely should have.
Tom Bauer, ESPN New York here. Let me through. That would totally work.
Can you, before we let you go, like right now, all I see on the ESPN New York YouTube channel, if you're just joining us, Tom Bauer is live at Dollywood because, of course, we're going to send people to where we need to send them to cover the big stories. Right now, all I see is your head in front of what appears to be a giant hot dog stand. Can you just give us a little view of the park, if you will, what's around you? Show us what's going on, people milling about. If you wanted to do an on-the-spot interview, I would not be averse to that. That's up to you.
Well, I'm not going to put anybody on the spot out of respect for everybody around here.
No, it's not making fun of anybody. It's letting people share their memories of Dolly and what she meant. I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, that would be good. I don't think we're going to be able to do that, though. I chose, like, the quietest area of the park possible. There's maybe one or two, like, families just roaming around. I'll do a little, if that didn't work at all. I can't turn my camera.
Can you just turn the camera so I'm not looking at your head in front of a hot dog
I'm trying my
stand?
best. I'm trying my best here. I'm not good at this. There's Wild Eagle up in the background. That's one of the more intense coasters at the park here. There's a place called the Dog House. Assumingly, you can get hot dogs there if you want.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at in front of your head or behind your head for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry you've had to look at my stupid head for the past 10 minutes. This is the quietest section in the back of the park that I could find.
All right,
otherwise,
there's the roller coaster.
Like music otherwise, there'd be music blasting that would probably get us copyright stricken on YouTube.
Tom, it's amazing that you're there, and I'm glad that you're there to cover the story like only you can. Thank you.
My pleasure, Chris. I'll see you next week. Take care.
Tom Bauer, live from Dollywood. What do I make of just what just happened here? Because listen, there were the obvious jokes that were there to be made, roller coaster with large humps in them, all that kind of thing. Yeah, we get it. I'm not going to do that today, even though Dolly had a tremendous sense of humor about it. It's just Tom's at Dollywood today. Do we feel like we got a sense of what's going on out there, Ray?
We got a sense. I wouldn't say a deep sense, but there was a sense that.
I mean, he seemed to basically indicate that it was somewhat subdued out there in the way the people are kind of acting today, and I understand that. But Dolly would want them to be certainly more out there and enjoying everything that she had designed to be the place.
Yeah, he basically said, kids are in school, get back to me after 3.
Yeah. As only Tom Bauer can. Can Dollywood handle the Bauer Hour? Mosaic IP. Carlin always sounds angry and makes these things awkward. I think I love to make things awkward if I can, but just the idea that if you can't embrace Tom Bauer just happening to be at Dollywood today on his vacation, I don't know that you're ever going to get the show. And I don't know that I get the show anyway. It's Carlin, ESPN New York at 800-919-3776. Eitan Tomlinson, Bauer has no future as an on-scene reporter. We should have, why would you be adverse to even interviewing a couple of people around you? I'm sorry, we're here for ESPN New York. Can we talk to you for a minute about Dolly? That's it. I think that would be nice, wouldn't it? Just talk to one or two people, that's all.
It would be nice, but you've heard Bauer's off the cuff.
Yeah, it's a good point. See, here's the thing. This is the thing. We're doing these things off the cuff. Like if I had known that Dan actually sent me the text yesterday saying that Bauer was at Dollywood, I thought he was just kind of joking that Bauer was on his pilgrimage to all these different amusement parks, and, I didn't think Dan was serious. But then you and I talked, and I found out he was actually going to be there today. We love Bauer. We love him. We love him. Just because he can make it awkward. 800-919-3776.
Hey, Yankees and Knicks fans. Come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, September 25th, and be ready to receive a very special giveaway. It's Josh Hart Yankees Bobblehead Night, presented by Delta Airlines. The first 18,000 guests will receive a Josh Hart Yankees bobblehead. Again, don't miss Josh Hart Yankees Bobblehead Night, presented by Delta Airlines, when the Yankees face the Orioles on Friday, September 25th. For tickets, log on to yankees.com/tickets.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Buster Olney, who do you look at as the most dangerous team?
So I think the best way to look at that is who's got the highest ceiling. And I believe that if the Yankees are right, if Judge comes back and he's productive, but that's a giant if. If he's right, they still in a mediocre American League have the highest ceiling.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Upgrade your outdoor living space with TimberTech, the #1 brand in premium decking from Rings End. Picture this, a deck that's the highlight of your backyard, turning heads season after season. Now, imagine 20, 30 years later. It's still going strong. And here's the best part. You haven't spent a moment sanding, staining, or sealing it. Visit your local Rings End for the stunning real wood looks of TimberTech decking, paired with the kind of durability that only advanced engineering can deliver. Backed by industry-leading warranties, TimberTech is the decking that performs for decades. Ask for it locally at Rings End.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Shh, here he comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Dollywood is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And there's you can't tell me that the computers aren't listening to us because I just pulled up on X next to me and hit it to refresh. And just as we have Tom on from Dollywood, the fate of Dolly Parton's theme park revealed after singer's death, as Dolly wanted. The fate of, they were not going to close down the theme park, but for today, Dollywood wanted open, and it was, and we went live there, and I have to tell you, there are times as a host that I want to deliver for you. That's really every day. But I guess what I'm saying is, when I found out before the show, literally 2 minutes before the show, that Tom was at Dollywood today, I'm like, wow, maybe I could do something really good with this. Maybe this could be, and I feel like I let you down. And I don't know if it was me, I don't know if it was Tom, I don't know what, it was just all of it. But Tom at Dollywood, the awkward that lives inside of him, I want to harvest that and bring it out more, as much as we can. Let's get to some sideline to sideline. Let's get to some sideline to sideline.
It's gonna happen.
This is Sideline to Sideline.
Go, go, go.
Ray Dinahan is here with Sideline to Sideline, some football news. What's going on?
So, as you mentioned before, the Giants actually trading offensive linemen. Other news out of Giants camp, unfortunate for Calvin Austin, who went down with a injury and had season-ending torn ACL. Now, what does that further mean? More roster spots open.
What does that mean for Odell Beckham?
What does that mean for Odell Beckham? Well, let's see what offensive coordinator Matt Nagy thinks about Odell Beckham Jr.
Same thing. I would say, so Odell got here towards the end of OTAs and really didn't know anything. He's just trying to get out here and physically show that he can make plays. And we all know who Odell was and what we want him to be. We get back here in training camp, and every day he's getting more and more reps, and he's starting to understand within our system, like in the pass game, for instance, if we have certain concepts, he now knows why those concepts are paired together to make sense, for certain routes in a concept. So now he can play a little faster and let his physical skills really jump out to all of us and make plays. And so I know he's super frustrated about that drop he had in the game the other day. We all know 9 out of 10 times he's going to catch that, but I like where he's at. The biggest thing with him, though, is being able to really stay focused and locked in on the details of the specifics, whether it's a formation, a route depth, a conversion, a blocking assignment. To be a great wide receiver nowadays, you got to be able to adjust post snap, and you got to be able to know where to line up. And so that's a process. He's been very patient, and I'm proud of where he's at.
Listen, I'm of the opinion that based on what we've seen so far, he shouldn't be on the team, but that's before the Calvin Austin injury. The thing that's still going to continue to work against him is the fact that Braxton Berrios plays as much special teams as he does, and Odell does not. So is that going to still cost him a roster spot? I have trouble seeing a scenario still where Odell is on the team. And I don't know that there's really a whole lot left with him. And he may still have some hops. He may still feel good about his legs and all that. This is not 10 years ago. And that's how long ago we're talking about now with Odell Beckham and how long he's been in the league. So it's really more time for us to understand that as much as Calvin Austin's injury hurts, I don't think it definitively opens the door for Beckham at this point. Next.
Moving right over to the other side of MetLife Stadium, the Jets. Chris Sims joined the Michael Kay Show yesterday and talked about what excites him about the Jets offense.
I think what excites me is, one, I think Geno Smith's going to surprise people, especially in the Frank Reich offense. I think their offense has a chance to be more dangerous than people give it credit for. Their own line, as you know, they've had a lot of assets they've wasted in the draft. They look the part. If they can kind of come together, I go, ooh, watch out. They could be dominant. Breece Hall, as we know, is as explosive as a running back as there is in football. And then Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell, especially, his emergence, if he can really be that number 2 that we all expect him to be, you couple that with the tight end play, and I know we haven't seen Kenyon Sadiq, but, man, Mason Taylor's pretty good too. I think the offense can be scary.
Scary is a word that I would not be using yet. And I get where Chris is coming from. I can't use the word scary when we're talking with Geno Smith right now, okay? As much as we can give him some of the benefit of the doubt for what happened in Las Vegas last year, it is 32 interceptions over 2 years. It is another new offense. I hope that it'll work with Frank Reich. I think the Jets have weapons, but calling the offense scary right now when Sadiq hasn't stepped on the field yet, I can't do that. And I think eventually all of those weapons can make it a scary offense. I love Kenyon Sadiq as a player in college. Loved him. He's a matchup nightmare. He's Jimmy Graham in his prime, but he hasn't been on the field yet. And you pretty much heard the Jets admit yesterday that for Sadiq, it's going to be very difficult to make any kind of an impact early in the year. It's going to be very difficult to do that. When you haven't been on the practice field at all as a rookie, you're more than behind the 8 ball. So if he comes back and is healthy for the beginning of the year, that's a guy that's on the field for a handful of plays at best. Next.
Yesterday's big story was surrounding the college football world and the professionals going back to school.
Ray, it appears our microphone is broken.
It is now a handheld.
And it's now become a handheld microphone.
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure how that happened. I didn't do anything to it, but it just started to move, and then all of a sudden...
Turns out plastic connectors, bad idea.
Anyway, go ahead.
So college football and obviously LSU at the center of it with DeQuan Wright, amongst others. Lane Kiffin spoke yesterday and prepared his staff.
I told our staff, whoever the kid chooses, the first kid chooses will be the poster child school, not the first to recruit. There's all kinds of schools that recruited him, including our conference and including his previous school. But he chose us. And so I said, hey, when he decided to choose us, I said, just get ready, guys. This is going to come. This will be Lane Kiffin, LSU, doing something that nobody else is doing.
Listen, that was Lane on McAfee's show yesterday. Does anybody expect any different from Lane? That's deflection. And, of course, other places are going to recruit him and want to get him there. But somehow Lane comes up with the most money for him, I'm sure. And that's how he ends up going there. And the kid, I didn't even realize this, the kid at one point last year had absolutely destroyed Lane publicly when he left. So just hammering him. But it doesn't matter. You can come here. You can help us win. I don't care where you played. That's what Lane Kiffin is telling you. You can come here and be a part of our team if you are better than the next guy at your position. And clearly that's how they feel about DeQuan Wright. So that's not going to happen now because it just, whatever the rule is now that the SEC and the Big Ten have both passed, that you cannot come back from the pros and play for us. And that's what it says right now. How long before we have court injunctions on that front?
Well, also Heather Dinich did join ESPN Radio last night, and she talked about what other conferences are doing in wake of the SEC also passing.
So the Big 12 athletic directors are expected to meet tomorrow, and they have not determined what their policy might look like. I talked to Notre Dame sources today who said they are also completely opposed to having pro athletes return to college. And Samuel has also reported that the ACC is going to meet in the near future to talk about this as well. So I think all the major conferences are showing unity in this. And the fact that the Big Ten and the SEC were unanimous on this is really important because you have conference leaders whose own head coaches are trying to do this say, you can't.
We talked to Heather about this stuff yesterday, and first of all, none of those other conferences anywhere are going to be viewed as less morally as certainly more morally flexible than the Big Ten and the SEC. That's not how these things work. The ACC will come out and vote against it unanimously. The Big 12 will do the same. The American will do the same. It's really the Power Four conferences, but there's no doubt that that's exactly what will happen. Exactly what will happen. Because nobody is going to be made to look like they are willing to break the rules more than other places. Frankly, I would have respected the SEC more if they just said, we don't care, screw it. They want to come back and play, great, no problem. But they were never going to allow themselves to let the Big Ten look morally superior to them in any way. Got anything else?
To close things out, Bengals practice featured a scare. And Jamar Chase going up, coming down with an injury. He was down for a little bit, but got up, limped off, returned to the sideline of practice, and says he was trying to get back out there, but he will be ready for week 1. Is there a team over the past few years that is more disappointing after injuries than the Bengals?
No. I mean, the Bengals are just, since they made the Super Bowl, they've been disappointing to be sure. The injuries with Burrow are starting to become a thing where you have to consider it. And now there's a lot of people that are expecting a lot of things from the Bengals this year, and I'd be careful, man. I'd be very careful on that front. I'm not expecting 10, 11 wins from Cincinnati. No. I understand they might have gotten a little bit better defensively, but, I mean, Hendrickson's gone, too. We're not talking about that. I understand Dexter Lawrence is there, but he didn't really help the Giants enough last season. I know he got double-teamed quite a bit, but there was clearly concern there that they were willing to trade him away for the 10th overall pick. It's Carlin, ESPN New York, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. We've had it all today. We've got a broken microphone. We've had Tom Bauer live from Dollywood. Who knows what the next few hours will keep in store for us?
Good Karma Sports is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with Good Karma Sports, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmasports.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmasports.com.
Summer isn't over yet. On Saturday, August 29th, the Red Bulls face the Philadelphia Union at Sports Illustrated Stadium for Anime Night, presented by New Jersey Lottery. Arrive early for the Boulevard at 4 p.m. for food trucks, games, family fun, and a free matchday poster while supplies last. When gates open, fans can grab one of 10,000 UGO card packs. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m. Bring your crew and make it a night to remember. Get tickets at NewYorkRedBulls.com.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Your thing with the Giants this year has always been you want to see tangible evidence of improvement because we know you're playing the Cowboys, you're going to L.A., you got to play the Rams. That's a tough start. But, I mean, you got the Titans and the Cardinals then. 2-2 should be a lot.
That's why 0-2, I'm not throwing in the towel because you got 2 winnable games after that. Then Washington with a chance to be 3-2.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Weekdays at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Tricon Construction is growing across New Jersey, delivering larger, more complex commercial projects with the precision today's developers expect. Because when the timelines, capital, and reputation are all on the line, you need more than a contractor. You need a true construction partner. Tricon brings experienced leadership, disciplined project management, and a team built around accountability and execution. From planning to completion, they build with purpose, professionalism, and pride. For serious commercial projects, build with Tricon. Visit TriconBuilds.com. That's TriconBuilds.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready
to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
They built this station from the ground up. And now, for one afternoon, they're back together. Michael Kay and Don LaGreca, the two longest tenured voices in ESPN New York history, reunite for a special 2-hour broadcast celebrating 25 years of ESPN New York. 25 years. Two legends. One conversation you won't want to miss. Thursday, September 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on ESPN New York and streaming live on the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
I have changed seats. We've got microphone issues. Ray is in here trying to make it happen. Just, if you happen to be watching on the ESPN New York YouTube channel and you just see a bald head kind of blocking the camera, you'll know what the deal is. 800-919-3776. That promo for Don and Michael together for next week, if you notice the beginning, I believe it said they built this station together. I wonder if we could use that as a little point of contention, because if you ask Michael, I know if you ask Don, you'll certainly think that, and he should, because Don's been a big part of it. But Michael think that he built this on his own? I think he probably does, and we've all called Michael the transmitter because he is the transmitter. They built this station together. Something tells me that that promo wasn't run through clearance in the K estate when they were doing it. 800-919-3776. Let's get our man Spencer up next on ESPN New York. Spencer in East Windsor. What's up, dude? How are you?
Hey, Chris, how are you? It's been an edifying experience listening to interviews from Dollywood, the 25th anniversary of ESPN. I picked the right day to call in, man.
What's going on? How are you? We did not get to your jet point yesterday, so I want to make sure we do that today.
That's why I'm calling back. Let's do that. I'm in agreement with you on the comments by Chris Sims. I wouldn't exactly say that the offense for the Jets is going to be explosive, but I do like a lot of things about what's going on with them. I like the O-line. Let's take a look at Olufashinu, for instance. He's put on some weight, good weight, muscle weight, this year. He's a little bit stronger, and what does that little bit of muscle weight do for us? Maybe it buys Geno Smith an extra second of time in the pocket. And what can you do with an extra second of time in the pocket? You can do a lot. It can really make the difference between getting an interception and getting a reception. All looks good in the O-line. Speaking of offense also, Carlin, I think one thing that you have to look for with the Jets this year is the explosive plays both sides of the ball. Last year, a big problem for the Jets, too many plays where the opposition, got 20 yards or more on a singular play. And for the Jets, it was too few plays where they made 20 yards or more on a singular play. So I think what you're looking for this year is just a little bit more cohesiveness and a little bit more explosion with the ball. What do you think so far?
I think that's all fair. I think, they had no explosion on the offense last year. So when you lose Wilson and you lose everybody that you did, how can you expect to have any explosion at all? Their offensive line, I have high expectations for it. Let's put it that way. I have high expectations for the Jet offensive line. Is that unfair yet? We can't call it a great offensive line yet. We think that they have really good pieces with young players at tackle, with Fashanu, with Membu, and we feel like they've got a good, solid interior led by Tipman. The Jets have a chance to have a really good offensive line. This is the year we find out if they do or not. And what I'm excited the most about, to tell you the truth, is Breece Hall a top-level back? If we're ever going to find out, now's the time to find out. We're gonna see whether or not, when you have that kind of a line and that kind of ability in front of you to block, that you can make the most of those opportunities. And the Jets obviously felt like he could, otherwise they wouldn't have paid him. And he's had, 1,000-yard seasons. That doesn't necessarily mean as much as it used to, especially with the extra game. But I think for Breece Hall, he to me is the single biggest key to the Jet offense. Is he going to really be somebody that can go out there and rush for 1,400 or 1,500 yards? That might be asking too much, but that's what I'm asking for. 800-919-3776 on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. You can also go in and make your comments there. 461, check it in. They're getting the black electrical tape to fix the microphone right now. Hey, don't put anything past black electrical tape or duct tape, all right? Duct tape, I'm pretty sure you could sew up a chest wound with duct tape if you needed to. Carlin, ESPN New York.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Walked in the door 9:30 p.m. Left at 4:30 a.m.
That's a long day.
You keep doing it. Don't sleep. Have the Giant game on Friday night. But hey, wake up at 4:30 again on Friday.
So you're right. I have no idea what these kind of days are like.
Let's go.
All these other things that you're doing, which I know command your attention, are very important. We were first. There's a reason you had to chop off the Friday, because you committed to us first. Then the other things came, and now we're gone.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
That schedule has nothing to do with me. Nothing.
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
If you're living with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, migraines, nerve pain, or chronic joint pain, you don't have to just live with it. I'm Michael Kay, and I want to introduce you to Dr. Jay Shah at Sandwell Pain. Dr. Shah is Ivy League trained, double board certified, and specializes in non-surgical, image-guided treatments that help get to the source of your pain. With convenient offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Englewood, expert care is never far away. So if pain is keeping you from doing the things that you love this summer, take the first step toward relief. Visit SandwellPain.com to book your appointment online.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
The U.S. Open Tennis Championships are underway, and you can still get in on the excitement. Grab a $30 grounds pass for the Finals Fan Fest, September 12th and 13th in Louis Armstrong Stadium. Experience celebrity arrivals and star-studded viewing parties, hosted by actress and comedian Yvonne Orji and The Bachelor's Joey Grazadeh, plus live DJ sets from Tinks, Lucas, and Summer House's Kyle Cook. Get tickets now at usopen.org.
Harry Douglas here to help you ignite your taste buds with Firework Freeze 5-Hour Energy Shots. Juicy cherry, citrus lime, and blue raspberry. It's that iconic freezer pop flavor, but with none of that guilty sugar aftermath. The perfect summer kick. It's delicious, portable, zero sugar energy shot bursting with flavor. Bring on the summer with Firework Freeze 5-Hour Energy Shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com and on Amazon.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
880 ESPN, WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A good karma sports radio station. This is Carlin.
You know I am not that bright.
On ESPN New York.
Fat, bald, nasally, I got it.
And streaming live on YouTube.
You're welcome. Straight up at noon, Carlin, ESPN New York, and on the ESPN New York YouTube channel at 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. There have been plenty of things to delve into today, including with the Jets and the Giants. That's where we began the show, and that's where we'll begin this hour. We'll also get into more with the Yankees and Michael's take yesterday that Giancarlo Stanton is somebody that the Yankees should be holding on to for next year. I don't see it. But anyway, we'll get to that in a few minutes as well. But I want to begin with what we have spent a lot of the show talking about, and that's mediocrity. Ironically, I mean, a lot of people might sit here and think, if there's anybody who's going to speak on mediocrity, Carlin might be the right guy to do it. Well, I'm getting just tired of mediocrity and accepting of competence and such. And that's why, as we have gone through the preseason of football, I find myself in this position quite often. But especially with football over the last couple of years, just hoping and praying that things are going to be better. And just wanting improvement from these teams. And, God, I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of talking about improvement. It's just too much. It's too vague of a term to really be able to put your finger on what has to happen for these teams this year. The Giants went 4-13 last season. So improvement is anything better than that? Of course not. Their win total for this year is 7.5. They have the 9th toughest schedule in the league. And the second half of their schedule is particularly difficult. They're going to come out of the gate and likely go 0-2. When they open with Dallas, listen, they may get Dallas at home. They open with Dallas, and then they go on the road to the Rams. They're likely to go 0-2. And then we've got 2 games after that that they should win. But the Giants, to get anywhere near an acceptable season, it can't be talking about double-digit losses again. Like, winning 4 games last year was disappointing in so many ways, to be sure. You fired the coach when you did in the middle of the year, made it even more difficult to try to win. And then, as it turns out at the end of the year, the level of play that you were at appears like it was actually better than the results dictated. Now, there's the whole Bill Parcells bit of you are what your record says you are. That's fine. It's generally true. And when you are not in your mind what your record says you are nothing more than disappointing. That's not always a true statement. And so, while I'm not somebody that loves to get into all of the specifics around analytics and how that affects the game, what I will acknowledge is that when I read Bill Barnwell on ESPN.com, and he takes you through the Giants' season last year and points to the fact that in the end, all of the metrics really say that how they performed was like a 7-win team and not like a 4-win team. And it just happened they had some bad breaks go their way, games that maybe they should have won and such, the Cowboys game in Dallas and all that. A 64-yard field goal to beat you. All of that, I will factor that in, and I will look at it and say, hey, maybe you got a point here. So if you were supposed to be a 7-win team last year, and you're a 7.5-win team according to Vegas this year, that's what your over-under is, then just doubling what that number is or getting to 7 is not acceptable enough. But the Giants, in winning 8 games this coming year, that's the bottom line of acceptable right now. And over the last several weeks, I've looked at it and I've had trouble trying to really negotiate my way into an 8-win season for them. Where is that exactly when the second half of the year looks like it does? They've got one game over the last 7 that you would honestly say, well, that's a win. Definitively, that's a win. And that game is Cleveland at home. Other than that, you cannot say it. So why do I say that getting to 7 and losing 10 games, even though there's the extra game now, is acceptable? You brought in a head coach that, as we detailed yesterday, is supposed to do nothing but raise the bar. You have been trying to sell me on your quarterback being a franchise quarterback. He played at high levels last season. Why wouldn't I believe that if you want me to think that quarterback's the guy, I would see more elevated play from him this year, and thus he would raise you even higher? For me to believe that this is a better team is for me to see that it's an 8-win team. Minimum. That's acceptable. I wouldn't even term that successful. I would term that acceptable. And then when I flip to the other side and the Jets, is double of awful actually, good? The answer is no. They were 3-14. Right now, Vegas has the Jets at 5.5. They have one of the easier schedules in the league. They get the Dolphins twice. They get Arizona. They get Vegas. They get the Browns. Think about all those games. I want to lay that out again. The Jets this season play the Browns at home. They get the Dolphins twice, including once at home. They get the Raiders at home, and then they go on the road for Arizona. 3 of those 4 teams are teams that are going to be battling for the worst record in the league again. 3 of those 4, at least, if not all 4. The Jets have to win all 5 of those games, and that gets you there immediately. So 6-11 has me at a market improvement? No. I don't want to talk about improvement. Acceptable is a word that I have been forced into by mediocrity over an extended period of time. What's acceptable? I don't want to hear about improvement anymore. If the Giants go 7-10, and everybody wants to tell me about how much better they looked, you can go throw your own parade wherever you want, okay? Because if in theory they were a team that should have won 7 last year but didn't, John Harbaugh was not brought here to turn 4 wins into 7. Jackson Dart, if he is a franchise quarterback, does not just turn 4 wins into 7. You continue to grow, you continue to get better, but, I mean, can we see some real progress? I'm just tired of using the word progress, too. It's not like it's without precedent to see a coach come in and have a major impact and get a team turned around relatively quickly. We have seen it many, many times, including in this town, including with Bill Parcells and the Jets, to go from 1 win to 9. 1 win to 9. So when you're considering all of these things and you bring in this coach, the expectations should raise even more. The bar should be raised above what is progress, what is improvement. Oh, God, I'm so tired of hearing it. What is that? What that is to me is a team that actually looks like after Thanksgiving, they still have a shot for something. To me, anything, if the Giants win 7 games, that's a bad year. That's a bad year. And I think there's a good chance that's going to happen. I don't know how much better they are, and I know what that schedule is. And if you're planning on winning 8 or 9, you better get 6 in the first half of the season. You better, because it is not getting easier after that. And then with the Jets, okay, you want to tell me 6 wins is doubling your win total, and, man, we're getting there? No, you can't do that. I want to call 7 acceptable. I don't want to call 7 acceptable. I don't want to call double-digit losses acceptable. I'll call 8 acceptable. The Jets' schedule is better. They have added much more to this roster, and they have changed how they are defensively so that they're bigger and more physical, so the teams are not necessarily running right through them like a hot knife through butter. There has to be legitimate results for me to get at least encouraged by what's happening. Like, if you are even the most optimistic of fans, and you haven't been to the playoffs in 15 freaking years, what exactly are you living for if you're encouraged by 6 wins? Because you doubled your win total. Congratulations. You doubled awful. 6 wins, 7 wins, not acceptable. 8, acceptable. 8 to 9, acceptable and encouraging. Otherwise, it's like just another year. It's just another year. And I don't want to continue to hear the excuses of, well, what did you expect? They won 3 games last year. What I expected is for things to get a whole lot better, for the coach to get a whole lot better. We made a change at quarterback, right? To a guy that was sold on, well, he's a stopgap guy. Well, it's Geno. This is what you're going to get. Is it? Is it? Because that was not the selling point at the time of the trade. The selling point at the time of the trade is Geno's going to give us a chance to win. And yes, it's a stopgap. He may not be the answer long term, but he's going to give us a chance to win. And I'm telling you, that's not nearly enough for me. If Geno is giving you chances to win, it's more likely because the rest of your team has improved and better. 8's a number that these two teams should be at least aiming for, embracing, and not settling for less than. And I don't think internally they are. But like Jordan Reed, his latest mock draft came out for next year. His first, I believe, mock draft came out for next year on ESPN.com. And so Jordan, who is fantastic when it comes to this stuff, knows it inside and out as to all the prospects and how good they can be. Jordan has 3 quarterbacks going in the first round next year, with the first 3 picks, in fact. And again, mock draft, I don't get too worked up by them, especially right now. And I'm frankly not even wanting to talk about it. But what are Jet fans going to be talking about? Who's going to be our quarterback? The Cleveland Browns, in a projected trade with Miami as the worst team, he has taken Dante Moore, number 1. The Cardinals taking Arch Manning, number 2. And he has the Jets with the 3rd pick. Jordan thinks the Jets are going to be that bad that they're going to have the 3rd pick. And he has them taking C.J. Carr from Notre Dame, the quarterback. I can't spend my year getting wrapped up in C.J. Carr. I can't. I can't. Like, there are times years ago in 2021 when we were in the middle of COVID, the 2020 season, the 2021 NFL draft, I wanted, if it had been possible, at the time it obviously was not, to put together a road trip of Jet fans and get like Jet jerseys made up that had Lawrence number 16 on the back of a green Jet jersey, and bring 100 people down to a Clemson game. And for the knock-on fans, or the knock-on the Jets, that people don't want to play for the Jets, hey, go down there and show a guy like that early how excited you are to potentially have him there and make your presence known in a college atmosphere. Like, that would be kind of cool. I don't want to start planning the trip for Notre Dame's final regular season game this year at Syracuse, November 28th, for the C.J. Carr pilgrimage up I-81. But we might be doing that. 8 minimum, guys, 8. Can't be talking about the 3rd overall pick because that's what the Jets earned. If they end up with the 3rd overall pick because the Colts were that bad, fantastic. If somehow the Cowboys or Packers were that bad, fantastic. Not happening. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. This has been a bit of a show. We have gone live earlier today to Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. On the passing of Dolly Parton, Tom Bauer, our producer, was at Dollywood today. We obviously sent him there with the big story happening, or Tom just happened to be on vacation and was on a pilgrimage to all his favorite amusement parks, and Dollywood was on the way, and he was there today. But yes, we went and got a live report from Tom in Dollywood. That's what we did on the show today. And I guess when it comes to that kind of thing, you want Tom to chime in. You want him to chime in as awkward a possible fashion as he did from down in Tennessee today. Mission accomplished there. And with the big story of Dolly Parton's passing and the tributes that have rolled in, who else would you want to deliver a tribute? And that's Richard in Manhattan. Hello, Richard.
Chris, your assessment of the Dolly Parton movie 9 to 5 is 100% spot on.
It is a fantastic movie, and if you have not seen
I'm going to rate it. I'm going to tell you. It came in between Saturday Night Fever and Officer and a Gentleman. What Dolly Parton did made stars out of Travolta and Richard Gere. They were stars before that.
Hang on a second. Those movies were brilliant on their own. I mean, they didn't need... Listen, I love Dolly Parton.
Similarities, Chris. Dolly Parton became a sympathetic figure from that movie. She wasn't acting. That's who she was. She was so gorgeous and adorable to watch. It was unbelievable. Now, here's the story. That's what happened with Travolta. He was a huge star, megastar on TV, Vinnie Barbarino. But that movie made him a very, very sympathetic. Richard Gere was a superstar. Officer and a Gentleman showed you in a sympathetic mode. Anyway, Dolly Parton was sort of a cartoonish figure to New Yorkers at that time. When she did that movie, she didn't have to act. She was a naturally beautiful person inside. But that movie, unlike the other two, made superstars of the four people in it. Lily Tomlin, who was in the movie, was, she was best known in Laughing. And then she had a period where she didn't do anything. Then she became Broadway. After this movie, she became a real big star. Jane Fonda was on a decline at that time. After that movie, she did the Jane Fonda workouts and the movies after that. She became a huge star. Well, she was a star. That movie made her bigger. Dabney Coleman, you're right on the money. He was so great in it. And you know what's ironic about Dabney Coleman? He played the part that in that movie that he did all the time. A grumpy old guy entitled. He was fantastic. The movie was fantastic on its own. Dolly was such a superstar. That did more for her career than any of her country songs, any of her music ever did. Because and she became a
hang on. I would say that did more for her career outside of the South and for people that did not celebrate her music than anything else. I get what you're saying.
That was like Elvis when he started doing his movies. Elvis was fantastic in those movies, even though he's criticized. I think he was a bigger star in his movies than he was with his music. But that's another story. Dolly Parton and that movie came right in between Officer and Gentleman and Saturday Night Fever. All three of those. And Chris, just as an aside, I can give you 20 movies from the mid-'70s to the mid-'80s. Forget about it. 20 movies. I mean, at that time you had all those movies, Eyes of Laura Mars.
Okay,
and,
we don't have to. You don't have to give them to me. I trust that you can give them to me. I don't know why I even let it get the far where he would mention one. But listen, a lovely tribute from Richard in Manhattan. And listen, you would argue there are plenty of people that you needed to hear from today on Dolly Parton, and Richard would be at the top of that list. I would agree with him on this. Again, if you're not familiar with the movie 9 to 5, do yourself a favor. I'm sure it's on one of the streaming services. Check it out. It's very funny. It is Dolly Parton. It is, Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and Dabney Coleman, who is so much of an underrated comedic actor that it is absolutely worth your time. And it stands up. It's a funny, funny movie. It really is. And, she comes across, I think Richard makes an interesting point there, that she crossed over a boundary in doing that movie and getting the attention that she did as somebody that was just came across like a lovely person. And that's what she was. And, boy, you're seeing that in the last day or so. Anyway, thank God Richard's been heard from. Just make sure the fellas this afternoon know that we've already heard from Richard. Thank God. Bill, Seaside Heights. Bill, what's going on, bud? How are you?
Fine, thank you. A quick question regarding the NFL schedule. My opinion, I feel that the super team in the Super Bowl or the playoff contenders, they should have a harder schedule than these teams that win 4 games, 2 games. And I just like your opinion on it. Who makes up this schedule? What NFL people? I'm going to hang up and listen to
Well, what do you mean who makes up the schedule? Like who decides who's going to play who? Or who?
Correct.
Well, who decides who's going to play who? Some of it is rotational, and some of it is based on how well you played in a particular year and what your schedule is going to look like the following season. For instance, they rotate divisions across. You play against if you're in the AFC North, one year you're going to play the NFC North. One year you're going to play the NFC South. You're going to play all your division games. You're going to play a couple of other conference games. And then now with 17 games, you're going to play one additional game beyond that, which is usually, if I'm not mistaken, an intra-conference game. It's usually a game in the other conference, not in the division that you were going to play. Like the Jets this year, what division is it that they play? They play the, let's see. They're playing the Cardinals, but they don't play the NFC West this year. Correct?
No, they play the NFC North this year.
They're playing the Packers at home. So the Cardinals are their extra game.
Right. They play the Cardinals. The Bills play the Seahawks because they're both first-place finishers.
Right.
I mean,
there you
Patriots play the Seahawks.
And that's right.
Because they're the first-place
So
finishers.
based on how they finish is how they get matched up. Jets and Cardinals both finished last year, end up playing each other for that additional game. So that's how that works. As far as when they play, well, that's something that gets worked out later on. You know at the end of the season who the opponents are going to be for the following year. You already know that. You just don't know when you're playing particular teams. Hey, big news, people. Big news for New York sports fans. DiPietro and Rothenberg and Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg coming to MSG Network starting Tuesday, September 8th. Catch our morning and afternoon shows simulcasted across MSG Network's television and digital platforms. You can still catch them on 8:80 a.m., the ESPN New York app, YouTube, and more. But we are beyond excited to start simulcasting on MSG Networks, which is going to give our shows an even bigger platform to reach our fans. Don't miss out. It's all starting September 8th on MSG Networks. Phone lines are open, 800-919-3776. A lot of discussion in and around the Jets and Giants, and not what expectations are, but what acceptable is anymore. I would love to hear from you on all of those, and I also want to hear from you on the Yankees and the future of Giancarlo Stanton, which, let's just be fair, there isn't one.
Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to cars4kids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to cars4kids.org. That's cars with a K.
This is the Michael K. Show.
Take a look around Major League Baseball, and the Yankees are a lot closer to perfect than most of the teams that are supposedly real championship contenders. And I'll say this with no equivocation whatsoever. If the Yankees were healthy with their running it back philosophy that everybody kicked around, they'd be running it back and running over the competition.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. Plus, another study found Amazon Prescription Pass customers pay nearly 1/3 less out of pocket. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com. Protecting your home inside and out.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets. So go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 40% off windows and doors and no payments, no interest for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See local showroom for details. Offer ends August 31st, 2026.
Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was fired today. Ippei Mitsuhara ran up gambling debts to a Southern California bookmaking operation.
The inside story of the biggest scandal in modern baseball.
He was absolutely bananas, the amount of bets he was making. I've never seen anything like it.
From 30 for 30 podcasts, this is The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani.
Presented by Gusto. New episodes available now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Man, Tim Curry also passed away today, 80 years old. Listen, am I a big Tim Curry guy? I am not. Greatest Tim Curry movie, Hunt for Red October, maybe? I don't know. I'm not familiar enough. I'm just going through his entire catalog as we speak. And I can't sit here and tell you I can celebrate the whole thing. All right? But Tim Curry passes away today at 80 years old. It's, man, first Dolly and now this Dolly thing is, I'll tell you, it's not to be bummed out. It actually has me feeling good about us as a people that everybody is just universally celebrating this person. Ethan, Virginia, next, ESPN New York. Ethan, what's going on?
Two things. First of all, Tim Curry's greatest movie is Clue. The cast in that movie, it's a top 5 comedy of all time. Clue.
All right, ease up. Top 5 comedy of all time for Clue.
In my personal list, Clue, you could watch it over and over and over. It's like Groundhog Day. All right. The original reason for my call.
Hang on a second. I can't just let that go. Yeah. All right. Hang on a second. Right. Cast here. Eileen Brennan, Tim Curry. Okay. Christopher Lloyd, Madeline Kahn, Martin. All right. This is a pretty good cast, but it's not.
It's fantastic. It stands the test of time. The writing.
Clue. Right. I can't call Clue a top 5 comedy of all time. Anything that's based on a board game, I can't call a top 5 comedy of all time.
On a Sunday afternoon on TBS, it's fantastic. Just hanging out. All right. So my main point, I'm going to do my best Richard from Manhattan and Don LaGreca impersonation. Top 5 songs that were specifically written for a movie, where if you'd never seen the movie, you'd hear the song and be like, wow, that's a banger. I got to tell you, 9 to 5, Dolly Parton is on that list. And I got to say, Footloose, 9 to 5, Eye the Tiger, Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds.
Yeah.
And Lose Yourself, 8 Mile.
8 Mile, I would agree with that.
9 to 5 is on that list.
I think 9 to 5 is on that list. Absolutely, I think 9 to 5 is on that list. Top 5, I wouldn't put it first. Lose Yourself is up there.
Footloose.
What about
Danger Zone?
What about Bee Gees Staying Alive? What about Can I Sound Any Older If I Tried? What about that?
I love it. That was written for the movie, confirmed?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't know.
There were a couple of movies that the Bee Gees did, or a couple of songs that the Bee Gees did that were written for the movie.
Eye of the Tiger's got to be on that list.
Eye of the Tiger's on that list. Listen, 10-year-old Carlin had a Walkman in the backyard mowing the lawn, listening to Eye of the Tiger and rewinding the tape and playing it again and again and again. I loved Eye of the Tiger. What about Purple Rain? Prince. Right? That's got to be there. And here's the most ironic part. Not ironic. Here's just the weirdest part. What's one song that you automatically identify with a movie immediately when you hear it? And I would argue, like 9 to 5, if that's what we're talking about, that's one of them. But one song that you would immediately identify with the movie would be I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston for The Bodyguard, right? But Dolly Parton wrote it. She wrote it years and years and years earlier. And Whitney Houston just covered it. Listen, I did not know my history clearly. I did not know until yesterday that she had written it. And then I heard the story that not only had she written it, apparently, Colonel Tom Parker, the guy who ripped off Elvis, came to her at one point after she had written it, said Elvis wants to do it, but we want half the publishing money because we're going to make it bigger and better than it ever has been. And she said, no, you can't have half the publishing rights. No. Take a walk. I don't care who you are. Colonel Tom Parker ripping off everybody in the music industry. And then later, Whitney comes along, does it. And that thing was like number one for 48 weeks or whatever it was. Felt like that song was like number one for the entirety of that year. Just trying to think of any other. Purple Rain has got to be right up there. Lose Yourself is definitely up there. As far as the movies or the songs that have been written for a movie specifically. 9 to 5 is definitely there. It's definitely there. What about Endless Love? Carlin, ESPN New York, on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. On the Giancarlo Stanton front, I was very surprised yesterday when I heard Michael's take about Stanton. Now, it was simply this. Why not keep him around next year? What's the harm in keeping him around? I think Stanton, for the Yankee fan, has just become a meme of sorts. He's become a symbol of injury and disappointment. And in some ways, what could have been. When you realize that Stanton has played less than half of his games in his Yankee career, that he's played more games as a Marlin in his career than he has as a Yankee, but he only spent 8 years as a Marlin or 7 years as a Marlin and 9 years as a Yankee. That's tough to swallow. And he's played something like 100 games more as a Marlin than he has as a Yankee. That's tough to swallow. He has become a symbol of frustration for the Yankee fan. Now, anybody that wants to sit there and say that back when they made the trade that they were against it is just, they're lying, okay? They're lying. The guy was coming off 59 home runs and an MVP season. And they had not gotten Ohtani, which is the whole reason that they went out and made the trade. But for the next year and a year plus, he's under contract through 27, and there is an option for 28 that's a buyout at $10 million. Here's how the money lays out. The Yankees are paying $15 of the $25 million next year. The Marlins are paying $10 million of that. And then they are paying the $10 million buyout. So the Yankees are basically, after this season, on the hook for $25 million for Giancarlo Stanton. Is $25 million next year worth keeping on the books to have Stanton around? Because maybe you get something out of him. I almost think, and granted, we don't know what the whole collective bargaining thing is going to look like and salary cap and such. I think at this point that it's worth it for him to not be here. The Yankee fan doesn't want to look or even hear about Stanton anymore. They don't want to hear, they hear this phrase enough as it is, okay? They don't want to hear the phrase when he plays, about how good he is. There's no more talking about going into a season and Stanton's going to be our 4-time-a-week DH. You can count on absolutely nothing. And the GM admitted this within the last 2 years. you can't count on what he's going to be. You can't count on him being anything. So if we're going to move on from Stanton, you have to understand that Stanton at this point in his career is just, you're moving on because it's not worth having his presence, just his presence looming, even if he's on the IL. The Yankee fan doesn't want to think about or hear the name anymore because it's just been such a massive disappointment. And to remove what has become a symbol of disappointment with just 1 year left on the contract, I would argue after this latest injury is worth more than to not have his presence lingering over the franchise just to say, what can we get out of him? You know? And that will come down to, I think another part of this will come down to, is someone like Spencer Jones ready to be a major offensive force? Because it almost goes back to the whole argument about having a quarterback who is a young quarterback and not making money and capitalizing on him then. Because we do go into the salary cap space or severe limitations on what you can do next year. What the Yankees are looking at, if they keep Stanton, they're responsible for that money as it is. They are hoping that somebody else can deliver because you're not counting on a damn thing from him. You can't look at whatever comes from him as a bonus, even though you knew at the end of the contract this was going to look bad. You need to move on because you don't need that lingering presence. So you need somebody like a young player, like a Spencer Jones, to actually be that next high-level player that you're not paying a lot of money to. If you're going to be more restricted in what you can do financially. Again, like the young quarterback who's not making a lot of money, but playing at a high level so you can win before you pay him. The Yankees would have a larger window to do that with Jones. So if Jones, who has shown flashes certainly, if Jones were to develop into that guy, then you would be taking a lot more positives out of having him just be the guy and not even having Stanton talked about anymore. Like that in and of itself is worth that money at this point in his career. Easy for me to say I'm not the one writing the checks, but how do you think the owner feels every time the name comes up? Probably not great. There's not a lot of positivity associated with him in terms of what his productivity on the field has been. I would argue that there has never been a player of his caliber who has come to New York and has handled himself as flawlessly through an awful lot of adversity, be it slumps, be it injuries, than Giancarlo Stanton. The man has been a model for how you handle yourself through all of that. But that's great. That doesn't really carry the day anymore. Carlin, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. There's no argument to me to really stick with Stanton beyond this season anymore. He doesn't need to be on the roster anymore. It's a sunk cost. Just lean into the sunk cost. Don't worry about what you might get out of him next year. That presence of negativity around just waiting and hoping and praying, not worth it. 800-919-3776. Get on board on ESPN New York and on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. You can do so by leaving your comments in the chat. Carlin on ESPN New York.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
There you were, surrounded by fans. Everybody remembers the game. Nobody remembers the guy coughing behind you. Till a few days later, at 2 a.m., you wake up with a fever and your throat's on fire. Now what? Urgent care? Closed. ER? Slammed. Telehealth? Maybe, but the pharmacy's closed. You needed a medical emergency kit. These aren't first aid kits. They contain essential prescriptions used for over 30 common conditions. Sinus and ear infection, UTIs, stomach bugs, traveler's diarrhea, and more on hand before you need them. Use your doctor-developed guidebook to select the right prescription or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. It's like an urgent care and drugstore at home. When you're sick, traveling, or stranded, you'll wish you'd ordered a medical emergency kit. Order online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one, 40% off windows and doors, and no payments, no interest for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See local showroom for details. Offer ends August 31st, 2026.
Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was fired today. Ippei Mitsuhara ran up gambling debts to a Southern California bookmaking operation.
The inside story of the biggest scandal in modern baseball.
He was absolutely bananas, the amount of bets he was making. I've never seen anything like it.
From 30 for 30 podcasts, this is The Betrayal of Shohei Ohtani.
Presented by Gusto. New episodes available now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
They built this station from the ground up. And now, for one afternoon, they're back together. Michael Kay and Don LaGreca, the two longest tenured voices in ESPN New York history, reunite for a special 2-hour broadcast celebrating 25 years of ESPN New York. 25 years. Two legends. One conversation you won't want to miss. Thursday, September 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on ESPN New York and streaming live on the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
Congratulations, New York. The Knicks did it. Through battle after battle, they dominated to become this year's NBA champions. Day in and day out, the hard work paid off, and you were there every step of the way. Enjoy the crown. Own it, because this year is your year. A part of your legacy that will never be forgotten. So celebrate this moment, show your pride, and shop the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
I should be clear about the Giancarlo thing. I don't cut Giancarlo Stanton now. I don't cut him as soon as the offseason comes. I cut him once the lockout situation is settled. Because as Michael was talking about yesterday, if they have the lockout and they don't have to pay him and they lose the season, well, then they lose the season and they walk away scot-free on that. My point is, after this year, Stanton never plays another game for the Yankee or never is a Yankee again. I just don't need to do it before the financial situation is clarified. So, because if I cut him now, I would obviously have to pay him next year no matter what, even if there wasn't a lockout. You don't do that. But I don't let his presence be around once there actually is baseball next season for this team. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. CJ Skybox, Chef is effing gorgeous today. There we go. I've done it. I've done it all. It's time to go home. First time in my life I've been called gorgeous. Thank you. Frank Syosset on ESPN New York. Frank, what's going on?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Chris. Yeah, but besides the financial end of Stanton, just to mention, you know, I'm sure you already know, he's third on the all-time postseason home run list. The only two ahead of him is Bernie and Jeter.
No, I do know that. How many championships have they won with him? And how many did they win with Bernie and Jeter? I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying it just hasn't translated enough, and he doesn't play enough games. Like, did those guys miss all those games? He had 7 in one postseason. Yeah, and he was the ALCS MVP. I understand all of that. I know, but, like, at what point does 9 years outweigh one ALCS run?
I understand what you're saying, Chris. It's a bad situation. I can't fault the guy for having health issues, and I really don't know what the health issues are with his calves. They haven't really gone into detail about what happens to his calves when he tries to run. But I know one thing. I mean, his heart is in the right place. Nobody cares more than him. Judge speaks very highly of him. He's one of the leaders in the clubhouse. He told them not to celebrate. Told the team not to celebrate for winning a DS or a CS because that wasn't the goal. The goal is winning the World Series. So, I mean, the guy is a dog. He's a clutch hitter. I can't, you know, it's sad. It's sad. I don't condemn the guy, make fun of the guy. I hear some talk on these talk shows, how they ridicule him for having a health issue. Thank God these people have health, because I know what it is not to have health, Chris. I know what it is to be seriously injured in intensive care for weeks at a time, in a hospital for months, and every time the guy steps to the plate, to me, he's a role model.
Okay,
and I know what it took him.
Frank, I get that. I mean, there's a big difference between what you went through and what Giancarlo Stanton goes through. You shouldn't ever make fun of somebody because of health. Of course not. But the guy has just never been healthy enough to consistently deliver for them after his first year here. And that's how you become a symbol of failure. That's just part of it. Like, he didn't come here and he was Ed Whitson, okay, where you're just awful and you don't perform. Came here and he just doesn't play nearly enough. I agree 100%. The respect level in the room for Stanton and from Judge is exactly what it should be. And I would argue that Stanton, this is probably not talked about enough. Remember, Judge had really just the 1 year in 2017 as a Yankee when Stanton got here. And Stanton, I really believe, played a big role in helping form Judge as a person in the clubhouse. Because there was a time back then that Judge was following him around quite a bit, just metaphorically speaking, in terms of how he handled himself. This is what I say. It's not a personal thing on Stanton. This guy is there. I would argue there's been nobody ever who has come to a place with more expectations and gone through more adversity while at the same time handling themselves flawlessly as Giancarlo Stanton has. I am a big fan of who he has been as a person on the Yankees and when on the field, what he's been capable of doing. But we're so far down the line now. Does that get outweighed by where we are now? I think it does. You can say you shouldn't knock a guy for getting hurt, but when it happens again and again and again and again and again, fans are going to be frustrated. Hey, the New York Red Bulls take on the Philadelphia Union this Saturday, August 29th, Sports Illustrated Stadium. It's anime night presented by the New Jersey Lottery. Arrive early for the Boulevard at 4 p.m. for food trucks, games, family fun, and a free match day poster while supplies last. When gates open, the first 10,000 fans can score a Yu-Gi-Oh card pack. For your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets, enter now at ESPNNewYork.com or through the ESPN New York app. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. Bring your crew and make it a night to remember. Get your tickets today at NewYorkRedBulls.com. Stanton has been, as a person and as a role model, as a Yankee, brilliant. But as a player, he just hasn't been out there enough. And I can also make the argument that as a player, he had 38 and 100 that first season when he played the full year. His best year in terms of games played after that, he played 1 year of like 138. But so many others in double digits. He's played 24 games this season. This is not getting better as you get older. I'm going to sneeze. Ray, on or off? On. I voted on. Are we just sticking with that from now on? We're just going to go when I have to sneeze on? I think so. Because it's like, what's the point of me not sharing what it could be if it could be me blowing the roof off the joint? All that does is take away from any possible entertainment for you and helps me at least give you a chuckle if I got nothing else that's enthralling you on that particular day. Can't see how that's possible, but you never know. 800-919-3776. Carlin, ESPN, New York. I want to hear Chris Sims here for a second, who was on with Michael yesterday. Are the Giants a fringe, or are the Giants a possible team that could contend this year?
I'd be shocked if you and me are doing the show mid-December and the Giants aren't at least in the conversation for the playoffs. I'd be shocked. You know, I do think the new energy bump from John Harbaugh is a real thing. Jackson Dart, year 2. Malik Neighbors' health, of course, is paramount. But the biggest thing is that the way they've set up the team now, the offensive line finally being pretty good, the defense in the front seven having a chance to be special. The biggest thing I love is nobody's going to physically outclass them or overpower them. And yeah, that's where I expect it to be different. And, you know, going from players I've talked to there, going from my dad and what he tells me when he's there every day, I mean, he uses phrases like the New York Giants are back, Christopher. They're back. I mean, you should see these. They're the biggest damn team. Holy crap. And, oh, man, you know, practice is really professional now, and there's no people on the sidelines, and it's football. And they are working these guys to death. And I think that's what I'm excited. And, of course, I think that's kind of the Giant way, and that's what I think John Harbaugh is going to bring here.
The problem for me, though, is they're not quite there yet when it matches up with the schedule. And as I said, that's all great, and I hope he's right. But I'm tired of talking about improvement, and I want to talk about acceptable. And if the Giants don't win at least 8 games, that's not acceptable, and that's going to be very, very, very hard to do. Just be realistic about the situation. But let's stop talking about progress and improvement, and let's start talking about results with both of these teams, both of them. The Caster is up next. You're welcome. I don't know if I could utter better words than that. Michael is coming your way in just moments on ESPN New York and the ESPN New York YouTube channel.
Okay, girls, ready to go?
Yeah! Mom, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? Me too, Mommy.
You want a snack?
Yeah!
Got it?
Children learn from our behaviors.
I can't.